We have studied about the difference between the double salt and a complex. Uh, Both double salt and complex are prepared from the more than one compounds, but still there are some differences, and the difference is that the double salt ionizes completely, whereas the complex compounds, they cannot be ionized completely, and as they cannot ionize completely, what happens, they do not produce the complete ions. For example, if we have FeCN6 minus 4, then in that case we can come to know that when K4FeCN6 is being added to water, it produces only
भैया
few ions.
भैया
These few ions are 4K plus and FeCN6 minus, but from FeCN6 minus 4, the ions like Fe plus and 6Cn minus, they cannot be taken out, or they cannot be separated, and this is how we can understand about the ionization. Some important terms which are related to the coordination compound that we have started studying. First term that we have studied was the coordination entity. The coordination entity is or coordination entity constitutes the central metal atom, or in bonded or ion that is bonded to fixed number of ions or molecules within the square bracket. That is what we have studied about the coordination entity, and now we have even revised the term called central atom or ion. In coordination entity, atom or ion to which a fixed number of ions or groups are bounded in a definite geometrical arrangement around it is called the central ion. You can see that central species can be ion or atom. For example, in NiS2O4Cl2 we have Ni plus 2 ion, but in NiCO4 we have anion present as an atom. These central atoms or ions are also referred as a Lewis acid because they accept the donated electrons, and that is why they are considered as a Lewis acids. We can even study about the ligands. The ions or molecules bound to central atom or ion in a coordination entity are called ligands. Ligands may be simple ions, or ligands may be the small molecules, or ligands may be the big molecules like ethylene diamine, or ligands may be the macromolecules like proteins and other substances. So this is how we have studied about with the examples. Then we have studied about the unidentate ligands. So when a ligand is bound to a metal ion through a single donor atom, the ligand is said to be unidentate. The various examples are Cl minus, Br minus, NO3 minus, and Cn minus. Ions has unidentate ligand, and then we have the neutral atoms such as NH2 and H2O. So they are unidentate ligand. Then we have studied about the didentate ligand. When a ligand can bind through a two donor atoms, it is known as the didentate ligand, my dear students. And we have seen the examples of didentate ions such as oxalate ion, sulfate ion, carbonate ion, oxide ion, and sulfite ion. Whereas we have the neutral didentate ligand, that is ethylene diamine, EN. Then we studied about the tridentate ligand. So a ligand in which there are three sides or three donor atoms present are known as the tridentate ligand. The examples are the PO4 minus 3 or the neutral atom like diethylene triamine, diethylene triamine, which is abbreviated as DETA, or it is also known as the bis-2 amine ethyl amine. So it is bis-2 amino ethyl amine. Then we have the hexadentate ligand. So when a ligand can bind through 6 donor atoms, the ligand is said to be the hexadentate ligand. And we have the example of the hexadentate ligand, which is known as the EDTA. Uh, EDTA full form is ethylene diamine tetraacetate. It is a neutral hexadentate ligand. You can see that there is CS2COO minus twice. So there are two ligand side into CS2COO minus, two into another CS2COO minus, and two are present as N available. So this is how we can understand these six ligand, six donor atoms for EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate, which is a hexadentate ligand. Now we need to study about the polydentate ligand. So when several donor atoms are present in a single ligand, such ligand is said to be polydentate ligand. The example of polydentate ligand we have already studied. We just need to study the examples like nitro triethylamine or tris-2-aminoethylamine, which is a tetradentate, EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate, which is hexadentate ligand, and they can be considered as a polydentate ligand. They can bind to 2 nitrogen and 4 oxygen atoms. So EDTA, if you really look at, you can see that it can bind through 2 nitrogen and 4 oxygen atom, and that is why it is considered as a hexadentate ligand, my dear students. Now we are going to study about the denticity of the ligand. So the number of ligating group or ligating site present in the ligand is called the denticity of the ligand. Example, we have the monodentate ligand, didentate ligand, and polydentate ligand. Now we want to study about the ligate site, the donor atom or a part of ligand through which a ligand bind, a donor atom or a ligate site through which a ligand bind to the central metal atom or central ion is called the ligate site. Ligate site is underlined with the red link. So, my dear students, here I have represented so many ligands, and in all these ligands, the ligate site I have underlined with the red pen or red ink. So let us look at, see, H2O has O, NH3 has N, CH3, CH2, NH2 has N, they are monodentate. H2N, CH2, CH2, NH2, didentate, two underlying, red underlying atoms, NH, CH2, CH2, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2, tridentate, N, CH2, CH2, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2, 4 nitrogen which are underlined with the red ink, and it is tetradentate. And then we have CH2, CH2, N, this 2N, and these 4 oxygen which are present in the COO minus. So it is hexadentate, EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate. Now we'll move to the another important terms, my dear students. So let's look at the next term. The next term is about the ambident ligand. Ligand which can ligate through two different atoms is called ambident ligand. The examples that we are going to see here, the examples are NO2 minus. NO2 minus can combine with oxygen as O and double bond O, and O is bonded with metal M, which is known as nitrito O, and the ligate, they ligate through O. It can be NO2 in the form of N and N double bond O, and here it ligates through nitrogen, so it is known as the nitro N, and it ligates through nitrogen. Same way we have thiocyanate ion HCN. This HCN can ligate through sulfur, so it is known as thiocyaneto, which is ligate through sulfur, but when it ligate through nitrogen, it is known as the isocyaneto, and this isocyaneto ligate through nitrogen. So this is how we study about the various ligate site, or we study about the ambident ligand. This definition of ambident ligand is very important, my dear students, and you should study it through that. Then we have the chelate ligand. When a di or polydentate ligand used its two or more donor atom to bind a single metal ion, it is said to be chelate ligand. So if a didentate or more dentate ligand combine with the metal ion and produce a compound, such ligand is known as the chelate ligand. Now we are going to study about the chelate complex. So when a di or polydentate ligand use its two or more donor atom to bind a single, sorry, I think I have missed the screen. Yes, let us repeat it once again. When a di or polydentate ligand use its two or more donor atom to bind a single metal ion, a complex formed. Such complex is called the chelate complex. Let us look at the various examples of chelate complex, like calcium EDTA complexes are the chelate complexes. You can see here CrEn3. So here 3En combines with the Cr. En is a bidentate ligand, and this is also called the chelate complex. Now we are going to study about the coordination number. The number of ligand donor atoms to which the metal is directly bonded is called the coordination number of metal atom or ion. You may understand it well by understanding the example. So in the example we have taken, my dear students, the coordination compound and coordinate number. You can see that CrH2O6 Cl3 has the coordination number 6 because 6 ligands are present into the square bracket. PTNH3 4Cl2 has a 4 coordination number because 4 ligands are present into the PT in the square bracket. CONH3 4En has a 6 coordination number because 4 coordination number or 4 atoms are bonded from NH3 and 2 atoms are bonded from En because En is a didentate ligand. Same way, in CrEn 3Cl3, if you look at the coordination number, the coordination number is going to be 6 because each En binds with the 2 atoms, 2 donor atoms, and ultimately it binds with the 6 donor atoms, and that is why the coordination number is going to be 6. The coordination number of the central atom, my dear students, is determined by only the number of sigma bonds and not by the number of pi bonds. So please remember this, that the coordination number of the central atom is determined by only by the sigma bonds formed by ligand with the central atom. Pi bonds if formed, suppose this ligand forms pi bond with the central metal atom or central metal ion, pi bonds if formed between the ligand and the central atom or ion, not counted or not considered for the purpose of determining the coordination number. Now we are going to study about the coordination sphere, my dear students. The central atom or ion and the ligand attached to it are enclosed in a square bracket and is collectively termed as coordination sphere. So my dear students, please remember that when we study about the coordination sphere, we are talking about the uh, uh, species that are present into the square bracket. Uh, so please mind well and remember the definition well. Then we are going to study about the counter ions. So let us see what is counter ion. The ionizable groups are written outside the bracket and are called the counter ions. So the ionized group which are written outside the bracket are known as the counter ion. Let us understand the counter ion with the example. In the complex K4FeCN6, coordination sphere is FeCN6 minus 4, whereas the counter ion is K plus. So this is how, my dear students, you can understand about the example of coordinate sphere as well as the counter ion. Now we have the definition for the coordination polyhedron, the spatial arrangement. Remember, my dear students, that whenever you think about the coordination polyhedron, you think about the arrangement of the ligands into the space or into the 3 dimension. So the spatial arrangement of the ligand atoms which are directly attached to the central atom or ion defines a coordination polyhedron about the central metal ion. So these ligands are about the or around the central atom or central ion in a 3-dimensional space, and that is what it is collectively known as the coordination polyhedron. The most common coordination polyhedron are, the shape of the coordination polyhedron may be octahedral, square planar, and tetrahedral. There may be some more shape that we are going to discuss, but you can see here the examples that CONH3 6 plus 3 is octahedral, NiCO4 is tetrahedral, and PTCl4 minus 2 is a square planar. These examples are also repeated, my dear students. You can see the various polyhedron shape here I have explained, where M is the central metal atom or ion and L represents the ligand. You can see here the octahedral where we have Ml6. When we have Ml4, we can have tetrahedral or square planar. When we have ML5, then we can have either trigonal bipyramidal or square pyramidal. So this is how, my dear students, we understand about the coordination polyhedron. My dear students, if you have any doubt in whatever I have discussed till now, you can ask me. Can you hear me, my dear students?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Dear students, I am expecting the answer. Do you have any doubt, or would you like to say me, yes sir, I understood? Do you have anything to ask about? The PDF I have already shared with you before 2 days. At least say, do you have any doubt or not?
No, sir.
No.
No.
No, sir.
Everybody please.
Sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
So can we move forward now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then
Yes,
let's move
sir.
forward, my dear students. Now we are going to study about the oxidation number of the central atom. So let us see what is the oxidation number of the central atom. The oxidation number of central atom in a complex is defined as the charge it would carry if all the ligands are removed along with the electron pairs that are shared with the central atom. My dear students, we need to study about the oxidation number, and this oxidation number is the charge that the metal ion or metal would carry if all ligands are removed from this metal and all the electrons which are donated by the ligand. These electrons are also being removed, and then whatever the charge the central atom or central ion carries, that is what it is known as the oxidation number. Oxidation number is represented by the Roman number in the parenthesis following the name of the coordination entity. So that we will understand with the examples. For example, oxidation number of copper in CuCN4 3 minus is +1 and is written as Cu into the parenthesis Roman number 1. So this is how we write the oxidation number, my dear students. Now we are going to study about the homoleptic complexes. So let us study what is homoleptic complex. Complexes in which a metal is bound to only one kind of donor group, example CONH36 plus 3, are known as the homoleptic complexes. Here you can see that, my dear students, that all the ligand that are bonded to CO, they are all same. So when all the ligand bonded to central metal or central atom are same, they are known as the homoleptic complexes. Now we are going to study about the heteroleptic complexes, my dear students. So here we can see that into the heteroleptic complexes, the complexes in which a metal is bound to more than one kind of donor group, example CO, NH34 and Cl2. So here the ligands are of two types. One is NH4, another is Cl2. And this is what they are known as the heteroleptic complexes. So we have studied about the homoleptic complexes and heteroleptic complexes, my dear students. Now we are going to study about the effective atomic number. So let's look at the effective atomic number. The total number of electrons which the central metal ion appears to possess in the complex, including those gained by it in a bounding called the effective atomic number of a central metal ion. Let me repeat it once again for you. The total number of electrons which the central metal ion appears to possess in the complex, including those gained by it in bonding, is called the effective atomic number of the central metal ion. Now, let me explain this to you, my dear students. Let me explain it to you. So, let's have a look at the definition, or let's try to understand this with one idea. You know, we have a metal. This metal, when it forms the complex, first it turns into some ion. So let's say it loses its 2 electron and then it turns as M plus 2, metal plus 2 ion. After the metal plus 2 ion has been formed, this metal plus 2 ion gets some electron from the ligand and it uses its secondary valency and make a complex, which is known as the coordination complex or coordination ion or coordination entity or whatever you call it. So this is how this central metal atom has lost some electron in making some positive ion, and then it gains some electron after gaining the electrons from the ligand. Now whatever the total number of electron present with the central atom or ion is known as the effective atomic number in a particular complex. I hope now, my dear students, you can understand it well. The last time I am going to read it for you. The total number of electrons which the central metal ion appears to possess in the complex, including those gained by it in bonding, is called the effective atomic number of the central metal ion. Now we have a formula to calculate the effective atomic number. Formula to calculate the effective atomic number, EAN is equal to atomic number minus electron lost in the formation of ion or electron lost in ion formation plus electron gained by coordination. So whenever we calculate effective atomic number, my dear students, we always calculate the atomic number of that particular element, then we remove the electron which is lost by the metal for the formation of ion, and then we add up the number of electron which is obtained by the central metal atom or ion by the method of coordination or which are donated by the ligands. So now we have a question that is what we are going to solve for us, my dear students. So let us solve a question for us. Here we have a question. Calculate the EAN, calculate effective atomic number for potassium ferrocyanide and potassium ferricyanide. So let us calculate the effective atomic number for potassium ferrocyanide and potassium ferricyanide. Let's look at this. First we'll look at the potassium ferrocyanide. Potassium ferrocyanide is known as K4FeCN6. It dissociates into 4K plus and FeCN6 minus 4. For FeCN6 minus 4, we write Fe plus 6Cn minus is equal to minus 4. Now, why do we write it so? Because the overall charge in FeCN6 minus 4 is minus 4. We have Fe and 6Cn minus present into the FeCN6 minus 4. The charge on Cn is minus 1. Let us say the charge on X is Fe is X. So X plus minus 6 is equal to minus 4, and therefore X is equal to plus 2, my dear students. So here you can see that Fe is present as Fe plus 2 in K4FeCN6. So here Fe is present as Fe plus 2. So when Fe Z is equal to 26, it has 26 electron. Argon 36 for S2, but Fe loses its 2 electron and becomes Fe plus 2 as argon 36 for S2. So now the atomic number decreases by 2 and Fe plus 2 have only 24 electrons. So total number of electrons left is equal to 24. Electrons left or electron lost is equal to 2. And 6 Cn minus will donate 6 multiplied by 2 is equal to 12 electrons. So now we know that the atomic number of Fe is 26. It has lost 2 electrons and 12 electrons are gained by the coordination number. So we put these values into the formula to understand it better. We can easily understand that Fe has got 26 atomic number, 2 electron lost by ion formation, and 12 electrons are gained due to the coordination. So total 36 electrons are there with the with the Fe into K4FeCN6, and that is what it is known as the effective atomic number for iron in K4FeCN6. Now we are going to study it for the potassium ferricyanide, my dear students. So when we look at the potassium ferricyanide, K3FeCN6, that dissociate into 3K plus and FeCN6 minus 3. So when we have FeCN6 minus 3, we can write for FeCN6 minus 3 as Fe plus 6Cn minus is equal to minus 3. Let us put the charge on Fe is X and Cn is minus 1. So ultimately we get X plus minus 6 is equal to minus 3, and therefore X is equal to plus 3. So what do we understand here, my dear students, is that Fe is present as Fe plus 3 in K3 FeCN6, and therefore number of electrons lost in ion formation is 3. Now we want to calculate the effective atomic number. As we want to calculate the effective atomic number, we have the formula: effective atomic number is equal to atomic number minus electron lost in the ion formation plus electron gained by the coordination. We know that 6 Cn are bonded to Fe. So 6 multiplied by 2, that is 12 electrons are gained by the coordination number. Electron lost are is equal to 3. So we can write 26. That is the atomic number of Fe minus 3 plus 12. Ultimately, it gives us the answer 35. So effective atomic number for Fe in K3 FeCN6 or potassium ferricyanide is 35. So this is how, my dear students, we can understand about the various terms that are related to the coordination compound. Into the next period, we are going to study about, or we will study about the nomenclature of the compounds, and we will see some examples for the oxidation number. We will see some of the examples for the oxidation number and calculation of the oxidation number, my dear students. So now we are um, now we are complete for today's class. And if you have any doubts, if you want to ask anything, you can ask now to me. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Do you have any doubt, my dear students?
No.
Dear students, do you have any doubt?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. If you do not have any doubt, we can move, or I may ask you some questions. Are you ready? Are you ready to face my questions, my dear students?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let's move forward, my dear students. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Okay, uh, let me prepare something for you so that I can ask you a question. Okay, dear students, let me share you something with you. Uh, can you see something on your screen, my dear students? What do you
Yes,
see on
sir.
your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm going to write
Void.
something for you. See, I have written something for you guys. What you can see on your screen, read it.
H2PTCl6.
H2PTCl6.
Okay. Uh, what is the counter ion for this? What is the counter ion?
2.
What is the counter ion for H2PTCl6?
H.
Only H? I am asking ion and you say H.
2.
I'm clearly asking ion. What is the counter ion? What is the counter ion? The answer
H.
should be H plus ion. The answer should be H plus ion. What is coordination entity here? What is the coordination entity here?
Cl6.
See, that is also not correct. You should speak PTCl6 minus 2. Repeat.
PTCl6 minus 2.
Okay. What is the ligand present here? What is the ligand present here?
Cl bind.
Very good. Uh, what is the shape of the coordination polyhedron here? What could be the shape of the coordination polyhedron here? देखो बच्चों, ये मैंने क्लियरली पढ़ाया था, फिर भी आपको याद नहीं आ रहा है. What is the shape? What could be the shape, my dear students? देखो बच्चों, अगर ये 5 होता है, अगर 6 होता है, कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर 6, then it is always, octahedral. When the coordination number is 6, it is always octahedral. When the coordination number is 5, it may be trigonal, bipyramidal, or it may be trigonal, bipyramidal, or